In today's video, we're going to take a look at an old setup and how we found this price cluster, and then we're going to finish with a new setup. Okay, so this is a daily chart of JP Morgan, and one of the setups that we did have in the past was this price cluster. The larger zone was this 226.69 to 230.09 area, and let me show you where it came from. We basically had a couple of symmetry projections from prior high to lows. So we took this high to low and we projected it from this high at that time for possible support. We also had this high to the low and we projected that one for possible support. That came in a little bit lower. Then we also had, let's see, this would be a 382 retracement of this larger swing that came in right here. And then we also had a 786 retracement of this smaller swing, low to high 786. And then there was one more price relationship, and that was actually this extension. I took a prior low to high swing and extended it 1618, and that overlapped this other area. So we basically had the coincidence of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 price relationships that came in between 226.69 and 230.09. If you actually looked at the smaller zone, like within the larger cluster zone, it was 228.96 to 230.09. Okay, so when the market pulled back and held this zone, what we wanted to do was go down to a lower time frame chart and look for a buy trigger. Typically we're looking at maybe a 15-minute or a 30-minute chart with the 834 EMA crossover for your entry. And then once we get triggered into the trade, our initial stop would either be underneath the low made before it triggered off, okay, or underneath the low end of the zone, which would be underneath the 226.69 area. Now in this case, it did hit, it held, it triggered, and it met two targets. Okay, met the 1272 target, which is target 1 for any of the trend trade setups. Target 2 is the 1618. It met that one and then went a little bit beyond. It never met the third target. But off of this area where you're just risking to underneath here from maybe here, we saw a rally of $50.72. Okay, so what have you done for me lately? So let's go like this and erase all and see if we can find the next one. Now I'm going to use these same prior high to low swings to see if this current decline is similar. So high to low projected from the high, and that's very similar. If I take this one, high to low, you went through that one and you have the other one that catches it, so we don't need that. Let's try running this high to low, this projection. We went through that one too. Okay, so we're done with that, but what else can we do? Let's look at the retracements. I'm going to do this low to the high. All right, nothing really close there, so let's just get rid of it. Then the next higher low to the high, nothing really there that overlaps that symmetry support, but again, we still have a few more swings to run. Okay, that's not too far away. Let's also run this low to this high. Okay, this low to this high. All right, see if there's anything else I can do. This low to this high. That's a 618 that overlaps. And I'm also going to run this low to this high and look for any extensions. Okay, so we went through the 1272 extension, but we were still above the 1618. So next area that stands out for possible support, it is going to be, if there's at least 3 price relationships that come together, then it is going to be considered an official setup, a price cluster, because it has 3 or more price relationships. But let's say the 2 areas that I want to watch right now come in around this 253.59 area, which we're pretty much holding above. I mean, we're slightly through it, but not enough to negate that support. So that's the first area. The second area is coming in anywhere between 248.91 to 251.25. So we have two zones to look at. But remember, if there is no trigger, we do not take a trade against that area. If we do get a trigger, then we know that we can place our stops either under the low before the trigger or underneath the low end of the zone. So that's something to look at in JPM. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And yeah.